Silence is golden. Meditation matters. By Angelo. Chapter 6. Self-Contemplation. Quote, "Who am I? Not the body, because it is decaying. Not the mind, because the brain will decay with the body. Not the personality, nor the emotions, for these will also vanish with death." Close quote. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Self-contemplation as a practice is also known as self-inquiry or Atma Vichara. Again, it is Vedic in origin and is a core practice in the Advaita Vedanta of Hinduism. As with TM, it has been popularized in fairly recent times by one particular individual from India. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi was a well-known Hindu sage who lived from 1879 to 1950. At the age of 16, he had a near-death experience which prompted a spontaneous spiritual awakening. He subsequently travelled to Tiruvannamalai in Tamil Nadu and spent the rest of his life on the sacred mountain of Arunachala. He lived in caves on the mountain for 27 years, but eventually settled in 1922 in an ashram that developed around his mother's tomb. Ramana Ashram subsequently grew to include a community kitchen, library, hospital, post office and many other facilities. He was buried at the ashram in 1950, and today Ramana Ashram is a popular pilgrimage destination for many devotees. Ramana Maharshi became known in the West following a visit by Paul Brunton in 1931. Brunton subsequently published a book called A Search in Secret India, which became a bestseller and introduced Ramana to a much wider audience. There have subsequently been many other Western devotees who have gone on to become teachers themselves. This one single individual, living a simple life on a mountain in India, has had an inspirational and profound effect around the world. The amazing thing is that his core teaching is so unbelievably simple and easy to practice. The basic premise of the Advaita Vedanta is that the entire universe is an expression of a single consciousness. The Sanskrit word Advaita means not two. The wisdom is simply that the appearance of objects and living beings in the apparently material world is not a fact, but is instead a sophisticated illusion. There are no separate, distinct things or beings, just as there are no separate, distinct waves on the ocean. There is just the ocean. There are not two. There is just consciousness. Given that we are living beings appearing in the world, then we must be an expression of this single consciousness. We are waves on the ocean. We've covered this understanding previously. The logic is very simple. As consciousness itself, we are able to experience this beingness by dropping back or expanding into higher vibrations of consciousness. This is the essence of Atma Vichara. We keep inquiring into who we really are, and it gradually becomes apparent that we are not who we thought we were. We are the ocean itself, rather than just a wave. The effectiveness of self-contemplation rests on the simple, logical, undeniable experiential fact that I cannot be anything that I am aware of. If I am aware of something, then I must be here first in order to be aware of it. We explored this process in the chapter on conscious awareness, but it's worth running through it again from beginning to end in order to see the tremendous power of this inquiry. Let's start with the outside world. We generally tend to identify with our possessions, relationships and careers. This is clearly not true. I am not my car. I am not my relationship status. I am not my job. I am aware that I have these things in my life, but these things are not who I am. Next comes the body. I can look at my hand and believe that it is me. However, I am aware of the image of my hand appearing in my mind. I have a hand, but the hand is not who I am. I am aware of my body, so I must be that which is aware rather than the thing that I am aware of. Having quickly dispensed with anything external, we can now bring our attention inside. I am aware of sensory perception, thoughts, emotions and memories arising and subsiding in the mind. I cannot be any of these things because I am always here to be aware of the constantly changing activity. There is a strong belief that I am my mind, but this is simply not true. Indeed, the belief in who I am is itself a thought that arises in the mind. I am here to witness it, so who am I? Now the inquiry begins to become more subtle. As well as being consciously aware of my mind, I am also aware that I am aware. But how do I know that I'm aware? Well, I just know. Am I the usual conscious awareness, or am I that which is aware of awareness? Who am I? There is no mind-based answer to this question. The purpose is not to serve up an answer, but is instead to actually experience the internal response to the question. Finally, as well as being aware of being aware, I'm also aware that I exist. I am always here, regardless of whether or not the awareness of mind is operating. I know that I exist without reference to any aspect of existence. I simply am. But who am I? Again, this is not a question to be answered. The intention is to experience the answer. So I start off thinking and believing that I am a separate body-mind individual with a personal life. Through the process of self-contemplation, I gradually and systematically come to understand and then experience that I am consciousness. No valid words can be added to this sense of existence. It is simply true. Self-contemplation leads to self-realization. It always works. It's guaranteed to work because we are revealing the truth of our own existence. It takes practice precisely because we do not believe that it can possibly be true. Beliefs determine our experience of life. If we want freedom, then we need to become willing to let go of these self-limiting beliefs. There are two ways to practice self-contemplation. The first is to set aside dedicated periods of time to undertake the inquiry. This can be done by sitting quietly and posing the questions outlined above, or we can seek guidance from a teacher. There are many free guided sessions of self-inquiry available online from experienced teachers such as Muji or Rupert Spira. Repeated exposure to such guidance allows the psyche to become attuned to the process, and it gradually becomes familiar and rather obvious. The second and perhaps more important way to practice self-contemplation is to remain constantly aware of who we are being in any given moment. This takes diligence and practice, but eventually it becomes natural. The suggestion is to use the arising of selfish thinking and emotional disturbance as invitations to return to self-contemplation. Who is it that is being selfish? Who is it that is feeling frustrated or upset? Who is it that is being judgmental and feeling resentful? But there can also be positive reminders as well as negative. Who is it that is feeling grateful? Who is it that feels pleased with themselves? Who is it that feels safe and secure? The list of possible invitations is endless. The recognition can take place instantly. One moment we are tangled up in our minds, yet one simple question can immediately reveal the truth once again. Who am I? The answer is always revelation, and hence wisdom. We return to a higher vibration of consciousness, and all is well. It will be temporary, of course, and something else will trigger us back into the personal mind. But constant repetition will, however, result in a more consistent abidance in higher states of being. This is progress. We will never reach perfection, of course, but we can move ever closer to it. Well, self-contemplation really is a gift to the world. It is transformative. The word Bhagavan means blessed one, and the word Shri denotes resplendence. But the teachings of Ramana Maharshi certainly warrant the addition of these words to his name. Who am I? If I have to use a word, then I would say that I am consciousness. I'm not claiming to be special or different. It's simply the truth. It is true for all of us. Self-contemplation will reveal our own true nature. All we have to do is believe it, and then keep reminding ourselves through practice until it becomes our experience.